cup at a time. Yeah, this is tea time. Yeah, making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time.
Well, welcome back to Tea Time, and it's afternoon tea time, and I have a returning guest from season 3 in the house. That's right. We're no longer guests, we're family now. That's right. She's been here on season 3. She was at the reunion show at Christmas time, and she is back to give us an update on incredible books and work and travel and all that good stuff. And we're just going to sit back and have some fun today together. So Bracha is sitting in the back and she's just jamming away. I see her moving when the song was dancing. So I love when the guests get into their videos. So let's get into the disclaimer and all of that good stuff. And let's get Bracha in here and let's have a good old tea time this afternoon. So the disclaimer for Miss Liz's live tea time live show. Miss Liz, myself, is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any tea time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forth dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the giving time of airing. All tea time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussions for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to note that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in today's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that this show is not made for you at this time, I respect your wishes and will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, all tea time shows this year in 2023 are done on Thursday, unless it is a rescheduled tea time, then they are done on a Monday or a Tuesday. So now I have the incredible Bracha Goetz. And I hope I'm saying her name right. If not, she's going to tell me again how to say the last name. Goetz. She will tell me how to pronounce it. Is the Harvard-educated author of 41 books that help children's souls shine and a candid memoir for adults about her transformational journey to joyfully overcoming food addictions. Her books can be found on her website, which will be seen throughout the show this afternoon. So let me get her in. And she has a new release, and it's called The Courage Club. So we're going to talk about that. So let me get her in here, and she can tell me how to say her last name.
Thank you.
Bracha, how do I say your last name, girl?
Right. So pretend there's no O.
Oh, that's right.
Want to try it?
Goetz.
You got it. That's it.
I keep pronouncing that.
It's very confusing. Everybody gets it wrong. Just about everybody. Yes.
Well, I'm glad that because sometimes people get really easily offended if the name is spelled said wrong, right? And I'm just like, I struggle with names, guys. Give me a break, right?
It's totally fine. Yes.
So, Bracha, it is absolutely amazing having you back. Like I said, you're no longer a guest; you're a family member now. You've been here 3 times on Tea Time, and I just want to let people know that I love when the guests come back because we
Yes.
get updates. We get to see where they grew since last season. So you were on season 3, and I believe you were in the fall time, if I remember right. There's so many of them. And
Yay.
then you were back at Christmas time for the reunion show, and you were in Israel at that time.
Yes.
So now you're back in the United States, correct?
Yep.
See, she travels and she writes. So, Bradget, give us some updates. What happened since last time?
Mm. I I've just been very grateful, having a wonderful time in life. The more that I learn about being a grateful person, it's it just the world just opens up. And no, I'm just really just happy to be here, happy to be sharing, happy to I've been doing a in-person presentations more again now that things are more open in that way. And you know what I have found? I feel that gratitude is spreading and people are getting into the habit more and more. It still needs to spread more, that's for sure. But I feel like it's catching on, and that's really our purpose for being here. Um, Lately, because the summer has just started, I've been giving presentations about safety for children, personal safety. That comes up a lot in the summertime, and swimming safely. My one of my newer books is Let's Swim Safely. It's a board book. So
Oh,
it's for really little children, toddlers, so they can't destroy the book. It's a board book made out of cardboard, and the children, they actually memorize the book so they know the guidelines for being near the water safely. And this is really popular now. So at the end of the book, it asks quiz questions so children get to know, should a little child jump in the pool or go in slowly? Um,
oh,
yeah, should adult be watching you all the time? And if an adult isn't watching, what should you do? Make sure you're not there without an adult watching you. Should you run near the pool? That's really important because you see even online videos of tiny children slipping into the pool, running near the pool and falling in, reaching for a toy. Take the toys out of the pool when it's not in use. But children will do that. This is so important that it always be locked, always supervise little children, and about not being wild in the pool, not dunking another child underneath the pool. I learned things researching this book. See, I was asked to write this book by a parent who was so concerned about what she was seeing, negligence, and it says here, I put there's a notes for parents in the back of the book where I learned doing all this research. Drowning is the leading cause of unintentional injury related death among children ages 1 to 4.
wow.
It's never be further away than an arm's reach from a toddler in a pool. That's how close you must be to a toddler at all times. And you have to actively watch him, not be looking at a phone, not be swimming yourself or talking to someone else. Really watching, because this is another thing I did not know. It's not common knowledge that drowning is silent. You do not hear screams for help. They are underwater. This is so important for people to know, and it's essential. So that's another new book that's come out that is really important. So I've been giving presentations about personal safety, prevention of abuse. Another thing that comes up now, because children may be less supervised or with other people that they get to know, and they an, an important statistics I'm sharing is about, it's not about stranger danger. In general, over 95% of cases, the molester is not a stranger. It's someone the child knows and trusts and often loves. So it's really, really important to educate children about this. Prevention education is essential. The books are helpful because sometimes it's uncomfortable to bring up a subject like this with a child. The books, you sit there, you read them with the child, and you get comfortable. And parents contact me grateful that it prevented their child from being perpetrated. And other parents, they say that through reading the books, their child was able to express that they already had been molested and did not know how to let the parent know about it. And it's essential for the child to come out with it, because it can harm a child terribly, but resilience is always possible. So if the sooner they can express it, what happened to them, the better.
Well, what I love about your books, Bracha, is they're children's books, and they're on topics that we need to be giving awareness to our children in a child's frame of mind. It's not a dirty magazine; it's a child's book, and they're able to understand it and process it. A lot of your books are on safety and prevention and awareness, and that's what I really love about all of your books is like the, they're just amazing. I think I bought one at Christmas time. I have a bunch. I that was my Christmas shopping. I bought from all of my tea time guests at Christmas time. So I bought a book here, a book there, and clothing and chocolates and anything that my business and my guests had. I supported them. That's how I did
So
Christmas last year.
amazing.
And
Amazing.
I really, really liked the book about the awareness, the self-awareness. I forget the name of the title of that one, and we talked about that one on Shining Bright.
Oh, I want to be famous.
I think so. I think that's the one that we had
Yes.
spoken about. And
Yes.
I love the concept of that book.
Yes. Because all my books, what they have in common is helping children's souls to shine. The book's about abuse too. I got to show you this. This is how it works. Our souls are shining. They are always shining. If abuse or neglect, any trauma, when it happens to a child, they don't feel the shine anymore. It's
Yeah.
covered up. Then they may need therapeutic intervention. They need support, help to be able to see that they're shining again, because this is protection
Yeah.
that's needed in order to cope. It's hard to take off those layers, but it can happen, and their souls can shine again because it's still shining, even though they can't feel it when they've gone through a terrible trauma.
Yeah. And I think that's what we need is we need the awareness, right? We need that conversation going. It's just like the prevention. Like you said, it's 95% of most children that are abused are through family members or somebody in the family or a friend of the family.
Yes.
We really need to stop with the stranger danger. We need to start bringing family danger to the table, but bringing it in a way that you do, Bracha, with your books. Like your books are so playful and so positive on the heavy topics.
Right.
And we talked about this on the first time when you came, was your food addictions.
Yeah.
You wrote a book on that as well.
Yes.
Um, these are topics that we need to be bringing to the table because they're everywhere. They're not just in Canada or US, they're global issues.
Exactly. Yes. So the book about my life, this is the only book for adults.
Yeah, the rest are all children's books. This
Yes.
one is for adults.
Yeah. Although I say the children's books also speak to the child in all of us. Definitely.
The inner child.
Yes. Everybody can relate and learn something from them. They're written on different levels of understanding, but this is not for children. This is about my journey to joy in life. How I was hungry. I was genuinely hungry. And, but when you have that hunger, know, you don't realize that it's your soul that's hungry.
Yeah.
So you think, I just know I need more pleasure right now. So whatever it is, it could be food addiction, it could be so many other types of addictions, which are widespread now. We, why do we overeat? Because we want the pleasure to keep lasting and we feel we don't have enough pleasure in our life right now. That's it. But it's not really the big tub of ice cream that we need, or the big bag of potato chips, or the whole box of chocolate chip cookies. It's pleasure that we really are craving. How do we bring pleasure into our lives, lasting pleasure? That's what I finally learned, and that's what I love sharing. So it's about gratitude. It's about filling up on gratitude. Gratitude, why does gratitude fill us up? Because it creates a connection. Why are we in an addiction? Because we feel disconnection. We feel estranged. Um, Loneliness, anxiety, depression, cut off. So we bring the connection in through gratitude. With gratitude, it means we're receiving loving compassion from a source. We're receiving it. So when we're receiving something good, that fills us with gratitude. So I don't know. Do you want me to tell about the
No, no,
pleasure?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sitting back. I'm enjoying this tea.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. The pleasure ladder has five rungs on it. Oh, and this is not me. This is not coming from my brain. This is ancient mystical wisdom. This is really what changed my life. So the five rungs, I, I, I I feel it relates to our five fingers. We have the power to bring pleasure into our lives at any moment, independent of anybody else. That's a very empowering thing. So these five levels, they correspond to the five levels of the human soul. The lowest level of the soul is the part that's connected to our bodies. So it's uplifted by all the natural physical pleasures in this world. Um, Natural food, nature, movements, dancing, swimming, um, let's see, did I say music ready? Being in nature, all these natural things. So, like my favorite example, I love the orange. It has so much because, it's the fruit are green. They are camouflaged into the leaves. They're protected until they're ready. And then they call to us when they get bright and beautiful. I'm ready. This is how they tell us they're ready. And so then you see it's bright and beautiful to look at, smells good, and when you open up, you take off the peel, which is individually packaged so perfectly, and the sweet juiciness is kept in for months. For us, with loving compassion and infinite wisdom, this was created. So we when we finish it, we're left with these seeds that we can plant, infinite amount of trees, infinite amount of oranges. Amazing the amount of wisdom, infinite wisdom in a tiny seed. So this is how we can experience just an orange with unbelievable gratitude and feel that love, that it's here for our pleasure. It's interesting because if you compare it to an orange flavored tangy taffy, even the wrapper pollutes the environment, and you feel the pleasure just for this second while it's here, and then it starts harming you. But all these natural things are made to be delicious and nutritious, not delicious and addictive. These are delicious and nutritious to benefit both our bodies and our souls. So that's just the lowest level of pleasure created for us. And then above that is love. So how could love not be dependent on someone else? Well, we can bring love into our lives at any moment, all by ourselves, just by thinking about appreciating the virtues of another. Even in jail, a person could think about a grandmother that once did a kindness for them and feel this uplift in emotion and be inspired. We can bring love into our life at any moment. So it's feeling gratitude for another thing, and then for another being, one step up, more and more connection. And the third level up is meaning, doing something meaningful and good in the world. When we do that, we right away feel uplifted also, and it's an even bigger connection. We're interacting in the world. So I was on another show, and the guy said that he had he was feeling very lonely, sitting by himself with a whole box of pizza. He ate 2 slices, and he was about to plow through the rest of the box. His neighbor knocks on his door. He helps his neighbor for 2 minutes, comes back. He doesn't want the rest of the pizza. What happened? He just filled up. He gave back. He did something meaningful for someone else, put the rest of the pizza in the fridge. The pizza stopped calling his name. Something changed. It changes that quickly. So that, and then even higher than meaning is creativity. When we are being creative, when you created that amazing video for me at the beginning of the show, it is so creative. You don't feel like eating or sleeping when you're in that zone of creativity. It's like you're on such a high, you are doing something amazing, uniquely you, that nobody else could do in the world. It's like with gratitude, you are giving back a part of you. It is so awesome. It's like such a great high. And the highest of all is transcendence. That is that sense of unity when we recognize how we're all really connected. We're all really connected. We're really all part of one soul, actually. You know how we give our carbon dioxide to all the vegetation around us. It's giving us the oxygen. We're all connected. And it's also when we transcend our own limitations, when we do something new and wonderful we've never done before, we make a crack in a bad habit. This is like the greatest joy there is on earth. Um, Recognizing how the energy that flows between all of us and source energy is all connected. And that's I just really wanted to share this because this is all about how to make our souls shine, all of us. Yeah.
I love the way you take an orange and you make it look so much more than an orange. You take it to the different levels, and you really want to enjoy the orange, you know?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
and I love the messages. We start as a seed, then we go green, and it's almost like the cocoon, right? The green is the
Yes.
shelter. And then the color comes out, is the orange color when it's ready to shine. And it's almost like what you did with the flashlight and the towel, where the shine goes, but the shine comes out with the orange when it's ready to shine again. And sometimes
Beautiful.
the oranges take a longer time to come out. Some oranges come out right away, some take a longer time. We look at food differently when Bracha comes on Tea Time, because we take you onto a different journey, a different level of looking at things. And I love the way that you bring it into the children's books, and you brought it into your memoir and your story as well, because you struggle with food addictions, and here you're using food to show people that you can bring a difference, right? So that shows healing within yourself as well, because you're able to use the food to get the message out.
Beautiful. I love that. Nobody's ever said that before. That is such a brilliant insight. I never saw that. That's like full circle, you know? It's so beautiful. You brought up another point you just said too, because a lot of the food, the junk that we can't stop eating or we overeat, we can't blame ourselves. It's designed to have that effect on us.
Yeah.
It's designed to be addictive. This stuff is not designed to be addictive. You're just People just don't usually eat 2 bags of oranges, you know what I mean? But it's a whole or 1 bag of oranges, but people will eat a whole bag of potato chips. It's like it just happens.
Yeah.
It's designed that way. They get it to this bliss point and this crunch point to make it that you just keep eating. It's working against your body, and it's aligned with your system to misalign it. It's incredible. So the more we can go back to the things that really are made with loving compassion and infinite wisdom for us, then we could feel the love. And instead of feeling guilt or
Yeah.
shame, and really the shame is also not appropriate, because our bodies are just responding in the way that the laboratory designed them to respond to these types of substances, which are not really food, because food is what helps us to grow, and in a good way, and helps with our metabolism. These things do not help us. Those kind of things. Yeah.
Well, I just love that you use food for your analogies because of having a food addiction. I myself on the first show when Bracha came on, we shared that we both struggled with eating disorders, and for me, it was I didn't want the food in my body because I didn't want to feed the body. And you were mentioning that earlier, where your soul is hungry. So I wanted to starve the soul. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
starving my stomach. I was starving my soul inside. So
Yes.
that really makes sense on the way that we treat our bodies and the way that we have this mental state of understanding food in a different way. And I love that you've taken this orange and you've brought it out to a different perspective of people looking at oranges now. We're all going to go out and buy a bag of oranges and we're going to celebrate with oranges. And
Yay.
I think we just need to slice an orange and let the juices flow and just grab a book, one of Bracha's books, and bring prevention to the table because all your books are based on safety, awareness, and prevention. And I love that about your children's books. If anyone's
Thank
looking
you.
for good books to go and grab for their children, I highly recommend you go and grab some of her books.
Thank you so much. I want to show you in this book, this teaches about how amazing our fruits and vegetables are. This is Hashem's candy store. You see how watermelon is meant for a whole group of people to eat together. It's big, it's heavy, and that's what we do, like on picnics. It's meant that way. Now, there's other things that are actually, you can see on them. Oh, here's a cantaloupe. It's great for sharing with 2 people. There it becomes like a bowl. You can see certain things, and look how a banana is perfectly packaged. It's got the yellow wrapper around it. It's all of these, like a plum, an apple, an orange. You could just take on a trip easily. It's all, oh, and the carrot, you see, it's some of the food actually tells you on it what it's especially good for. Carrots, if you slice them, you're going to see eyes right in there. You see the eyes. Slice a carrot, check it out, and you'll see that carrots are really good for your eyes. Walnuts, they look like little brains. Oh, I have one right here.
Oh, I never thought of that. Brenda,
That's
that is
right.
really cool.
This is amazing. I mean, nature is incredible. Um, oh my gosh, celery is especially good for our bones. Tomatoes for our heart. Oh my God, it's like an incredible thing. And here,
It's like an incredible science class here.
I know, and I'm teaching how wonderful, wondrous this natural world is. Another book, it's coming out, is Remarkable Park. Also about things to learn from nature. Nature has so much to tell us. What we can learn, even even the ups and downs in life, the valleys, the hills. Up we can go, and it's a struggle sometimes in life, but we could do it. There's look at the there's so much to learn from the ant. The ant goes, you could watch them. They carry these huge things. They're unbelievable what they could do, right? I mean, the deer, they run so quickly. They teach us to have that kind of zest in life, to run and do it's there's so much, and children love learning about animals, so it it's just awesome. I've been studying this for years and I love sharing it. Yes, with children and with everybody, just so that we can look at the world really in the kind of way that we did as a child, with open curiosity and wonder again. Yeah.
Well, it's like you said, right? Your children's books are not just for children. And adults can enjoy them. The inner child, feed your inner child, guys. Go out and grab these books because the books have meaning to them. And if
Yeah.
you're really looking for something that's going to give a lesson and a good lesson on life, I highly recommend. Now, you have a new book that came out and it's called the Courage Club. So, you
Yeah.
want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah. We all need courage. Now more than ever, I'm not sure, but children need courage to be able to stick to their values and be joyful about who they are. They need that courage. This goes into the story of Daniel from the Bible, and the children are acting out the play. And with Daniel, and you learn from him because these were children. They were actually teenagers when they were captured, Daniel and his friends, and taken from Israel to Babylon, where they were kept there away from their families, just these children on their own. And they had to create the bravery within themselves. And Daniel encouraged his friends, and they withstood incredible tests. And they were shining examples to everybody. They blew everybody away. It made an impression, and that is still making an impression on us today. So it's learning from these people who are also children, um, how we can have courage in our lives. Yeah.
And I love that you have the word courage because we talked about courage this morning with Linda and Charlie on marriages and relationships. So the word courage, and
Wow.
Dr. Roger Leslie's coming on later, and he had the courage to come out on his sexuality. So, like, today's word is courage. We're just going to go with courage today.
Wow.
It takes a lot of courage to be authentic and be our true selves. So, Bracha, has your books helped any of your family members?
What an interesting question. Well, there's a my one of my newest books is called Don't Read This Book.
Yeah, when I
And
seen that title, I was like, "What? She doesn't what? Don't
it's
read it."
it's that little voice in your head. We all have that little voice in our head. This voice is telling us, "Oh, don't be happy. You need that to be happy. You're missing this. You're lacking that," all day long. So, this voice is telling us, don't read this book because then you're going to find out my tricks. Oh no. So this is giving away the tricks. This book took me 30 years to write. Yeah, because the wisdom was increasing through the years, learning more and more. I wrote the book 30 years ago, but it wasn't finished. It didn't feel right for children. I kept working on it. And then last year, I had the final piece of wisdom that came to me. That voice that's in everybody's head that's trying to get us to be miserable, it really doesn't want us to listen to it. This is amazing. I did not get that. It wants us to push it off, and gain gratitude muscles. This is how we gain our muscles, pushing off the voice. Who knew? So that voice also wants us to win. It wants us to win against it. This book helps children do that. So one of my daughter-in-law said to me, her son, my grandson, they've read the book a bunch of times, and she said she sees him come out of his room one night, and he's not. He was put to bed. Now he's outside the room. I'm not going to bed. So she says to him, "Is that little voice talking to you right now, telling you not to go back in bed?" He looks at her like, "How did you know that?" And he doesn't say a word. She comes back a few minutes later. He's back in bed. She said that's all she has to say now. She talks to him about that little voice, and he totally gets it. That little voice is getting him to do these things, but really, it's not making him happy. So once you have that recognition, it's the awareness. The awareness is the battle's almost won. Once you have the awareness, you have the empowerment. That little voice sneaks away the minute you know that it's talking. It loses its power over you. So this is so valuable for children to gain that knowledge early on in life. It changes everything. So yeah, you asked me how it's affecting my grandchildren, my children. Yeah, and also I have a grandchild with severe disabilities. She can't feel from the waist down. She's in a wheelchair. When she was born, people said to me, well, now you're going to write about disabilities, I'm sure. And I said, I would love to, but I'm not an expert. And then an expert published about these amazing workshops she's giving, teaching children that are not as neurodiverse about how to be more inclusive of children with disabilities. So I asked her, could I put her workshop into a picture book for children? And she was thrilled. And Yael Zellinger's workshops are now in this book, which explains to children the guidelines. Let's appreciate everyone. How to be more inclusive, because children with disabilities are usually the loneliest children. They don't get invited to as many parties or play dates as other children. So, but it's a lot because children don't know how to be interactive as well. So this gives them the guidelines, and they know better how to interact. Then they can do it more effectively. And one of the main guidelines is this: when a child sees a child with a visible disability, there are many disabilities that are invisible, but when they see a visible disability, they tend to stare at a disability. And that's totally understandable because they're curious. But if there's another 5-letter word that also begins with S beside stare, and that's smile. If you add your smile to, you could stare, but add your smile, and that becomes a connection. That smile becomes a bridge between you and the other child. That's how you begin to create a connection. Yeah.
I just love the way that you take your books and you make people look at things differently. I just love it, Brasha. Like, I mean, children with disabilities, you know, you're taking something very simple, 5-letter word that starts with an S, and you're just changing it, you know, and then it equals a connection. And you might make yourself the best friendship out there, you know, might be your future spouse. You just never know where it will lead you. And that's why I asked you, have any of your books impacted your family? Because if it impacts your family, it's going to impact another family, you know, because when our work impacts others and it works with our family, then other people are like, oh, well, maybe it'll work with my family too. But when I seen the title that do not read this book, I was like, okay, she doesn't want me to read the book. I'm going to read the book, because it's like telling a kid, don't go there, and they go there.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how it works. Exactly. Exactly. That's what we're getting into, that voice's head, you know? How does it work on you? Exactly that. So
Right?
it gives me so much joy. Yes.
It's like you said with your grandson. He got up and he didn't want to go back to bed, and then she said, "Is your voice telling you?" Well, right away he thought of the book. Do not go to bed. Oh, I better go to bed.
Exactly. Exactly. And
You
it
know,
gives you that sense of power over the voice.
right?
Oh, yeah, I can overpower that voice. It's great. Yes.
Yeah, it just I just love the way that you take something over here and turn it over to something beautiful over here. It's
Thank
that
you.
stare to smile to connection. So I think it's a good time, Bracha, to ask you, this question. What is your tea? So what 3 words do you have for me today on your tea time?
Oh my gosh, I forgot to prepare this.
No, because you got it. If you can take an orange and you can make me go and tell everyone to go buy a bag of oranges, you got this. Your tea it's there. It's in you, girl.
Now, wait, remind me what I'm supposed to do again.
3 words that start with the letter TEA. And they don't
Oh,
have to start with the letter TEA. Whatever T, the 3 words that are coming to you right now, Raja. What's coming up?
well, first words is teaching, education, and appreciation. Those are the words that come to my mind. If I'm doing this right, am I?
Your T
Okay,
is right. It's your T.
okay, yes. Appreciation. Appreciate. Teach. Oh, that's it. Teach everybody appreciation. That's it. Teach everybody appreciation. We, it's so easy to take things for granted. I learned that 6 months after a person is, God forbid, paralyzed, or 6 months after a person wins $1 million lottery, they're back at the same happiness set point they were at before that ever happened. But what changes a person for the rest of their lives? Developing the exercising their gratitude muscles. That changes their level of happiness in life. So when we practice appreciating things that we took for granted before, our life fundamentally changes.
Uh, See, I knew you had your tea in you, girl. My guests, they try to play a fast one on me sometimes, and they're like, "I don't know what my tea is." Yes, you do. It's in you. It's in you. We all have a tea within us. We don't serve a beverage. You can drink tea if you want on tea time. You can drink a coffee. You can have a glass of wine. You can have a glass of juice, but we serve live tea here on Tea Time. And Bracha, teaching education to everyone and appreciation, the gratitude. You started right off, right from the get go of the show. You were grateful for the opportunity of coming back and grateful for the last year. You started off the show like that. So I knew you were coming with appreciation, and I knew you were coming with teaching, because that's what you do. You teach with your books, but I can't tell you what your tea is, because that would be me telling you who you are, and I can't do that. you know
Beautiful. I I have to say this. I have seen such a transformation in you since I was on the show before. I can't get over it. You are shining. I know that you're going through challenges. You you're shining. You I don't want to say despite or because, but you've become a much more deeply happy person since I've known you. I am blown away by what I see. It's a real joy for me, and I'm so grateful to see that.
Well, and I've learned something from all of my guests. It's 4 seasons, and I've had over 250 people sit with me, and I picked a little bit from each of you, and you all showed me how to keep moving forward, how to keep going on. A lot of my guests, they see the struggles, they see my up and down with my mental health, and that sometimes, I get overwhelmed very easily. And especially when things don't make sense, I get really, you know, maybe I need to write a little grizzly bear children's book or something. I'm not sure, but, you know, but I learned something from all of you guys coming on Tea Time. You all gave me your time. You all appreciate the time together. 1 hour makes a difference in someone's life. You just never know what you're doing in that 1 hour. Like, look at us. We're talking about oranges. We're talking about bedtime, and teas. And we're communicating, and we're having that open conversation, and we're celebrating each other's growth. Because you have really changed too since season 3. Like, I'm just like, oh, she's all over the place. Like, she's traveling. Like, at Christmas time, you were in Israel, and now you're back in the United States. And then we were trying to figure out. You gave me 2 other states that you were in, and we're like, oh wait, that is still in the United States. So.
Yes.
But we learn from each other, and we grow from each other. And this is what tea time is all about. It's the connection, it's the networking, it's the collaboration, and joining and celebrating one another. So, Bracha, I want to start celebrating a few things that you gave me. You gave me the word grateful, and you started off with grateful as your word to describe yourself as an individual. Why that word?
That's our whole reason for being here. This is what I did not understand. What does a parent want for their children? They want their children to experience the greatest pleasure possible in life. That's why we were created. Really, we've gone off course, but we were given this amazing garden.
Yep.
And all we have to do is express gratitude and feel the gratitude and appreciate it and not take things for granted. And when we do that, we create a connection between accepting it with love, that it's being created for us with loving compassion. And then we feel cared about, and that's how we get self-care, and that's how we fill up. And then that spills over, that tea spills over to others.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that orange. You cut the orange open, and the juice just flows.
Yes.
Right? It's a
Yes.
beautiful. I'm telling everybody who's listening and who will watch the replay, go and buy yourself a bag of oranges. You will not look at an orange the same way after this tea time. Bracha, you really open up the eyes and the perspective of seeing things in a different way, and you
Thank
take
you.
things and you bring it to awareness of the child. And we're all children. We were all children once upon a time. Whether we're adults now, we still have the inner child. Your books bring that awareness and prevention. And we need more of these children's books out there because we don't have enough on prevention. We don't have enough on awareness. And like you said, drowning, the ages of 1 to 4, like,
Give, give
we don't have those
children,
numbers.
exactly, give children the skills as early in life as possible, the tools to live a happy life. That's what we all wish we had. Then we don't have to play catch up. That's what we've been doing. We can give this wisdom exists. We can give it to children early on. And you know what? Our souls never age. They're as vibrant as ever. So we're really, within us, the essence of us is forever youthful. Yes.
Forever, forever. And I do see, I think you're wearing a P-Winkle shirt, or close to the P-Winkle
Oh,
color.
periwinkle?
Periwinkle.
My favorite color.
I got those letters. I need a grammar class from you, Bracha. But your favorite color is P-Winkle.
That's right. That's right.
And I believe your shirt is close to the P-Winkle.
Close to it because I love these colors.
So
Yes.
why is that your favorite color?
Ooh, all shades of like purple, blue, pink. Oh my gosh. Well, purple is royalty. That's the king. That's all the gifts being bestowed on us, all the blessings that we're getting. Yeah, I love being close to that and recognizing it and seeing it and reaching for it.
Right? And that's what it is. With colors, we look at colors differently, right? We can say, well, our favorite color is blue, our favorite color is green, but why is it your favorite color?
Yes,
No,
that's an amazing question. I love that.
you need to write a children's book on what is your favorite color. Like, why is your favorite color blue? Is it because of the sky? Is it because of the water? Is it
Beautiful.
and it brings the
Beautiful.
nature in, it brings the fruits in. Blueberries, is it because you love blueberries? But blueberries are almost on a purple color instead of a blue color. I still don't know why a blueberry is called a blueberry because they look purple to me.
Hmm.
Right? But
I'm
I want
writing.
to get
I'm writing down your great idea. I love it.
awesome. So you also have all of your books in audio books as well, correct?
Um, some of them, the newer ones, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I did find that some of them I did have the audiobook and that. We talked about the travel, we talked about the children's. You did have a workshop, I noticed, that was on July 2nd. So how did that go?
That was wonderful. That was safety, teaching parents, and I got when you do it live, I got terrific questions, which I love from parents. Um, so that was amazing. Yeah, it's it's so beautiful to get from parents what they're interested in and to be able to answer their questions right away. So I do enjoy doing presentations on Zoom and in person. It's great. Yeah.
I'll let you take a drink. So for anybody that would like to share this tea time, go ahead and share this tea time. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Miss Liz's Tea Times. You'll see Bracha on season 3. You'll see her on the reunion show as well. Check out the different playlists. There's different you can see the guests in different areas. They're all separated now as season 1, season 2, season 3, reunion show, Miss Liz's talk. All of that good stuff is in there. But I really want to just thank Bracha for wanting to come back and giving me an update in person, because I love the updates in person instead of just putting it onto a post. I love seeing you guys. I love seeing where you are now and what you're doing now.
Your
So any
your heart is so open now. I just love it. Really.
well, thank you so much, Bracha. So do you have any future plans in the future for, I know you were talking about the book that's coming out about nature.
Yep. We're working on more books. Right now, my I stopped sending out my books to other publishers because my youngest children wanted to become my publishers. So they are publishing my books now. And it's really been awesome working together with them, creating the books. So we have two more books in the pipeline that we're working on. And we're also doing animations and more audiobooks. And yeah, we're having an awesome time together doing it. Yeah.
So any final words that you have for anybody out there? I'll let you take another drink.
Oh, so yeah, I think I want to share this little story that there was a person about to jump off a building, and the lady across the way saw him, and she said, "Do not jump. I'm sure your life is very painful right now. But what if, in addition to everything you're going through right now, what if you were also blind? And what if right this moment you were given the gift of vision? Would you still jump?" And he says, "No, of course not." And she said to him, "Well, now I'm giving you the gift of vision. You have things in your life that you could be grateful for right now. Despite all the problems and all the pain, there are things you haven't opened your eyes to be grateful for. Do that right now, and you will see." So, to everybody out there, life is worth living. Everybody has some blessings in their life. Um, and any moment that we spend being grateful is a moment that we're not spending being miserable. So, just each moment, be grateful for each moment. When you fall down, when we relapse, when we have hard times, that happens. Let's say you eat 5 candy bars. You could say, I didn't eat 10 candy bars today. That's great. That's something to celebrate. You ate 10 candy bars. You say, I didn't eat 50 candy bars. You always have something to be grateful for, whatever it is. The parts of your body that are working right now, all the diseases you don't have, that the sun is shining, that there's a breeze, that there's a tree outside, you know, that we're breathing. The pandemic taught us that, because everything we have could be taken from us away in one moment. Be grateful for what you have this moment. That changes your life all the way ahead. That's that's what I want to leave people with. Yeah.
I really want to thank you, Bracha, because you give people the inner look of how fast something can be taken from you. So appreciate it, be grateful. And I love that analogy of, you ate 10 candy bars, but you didn't eat 50. You know, celebrate, be grateful. We got to show more gratitude. Be grateful that you have a roof over your head, that you have clothes on your back, that you have a sandwich. Be grateful and say thank you. Wake up with a gratitude heart. You wake up, if you're sore, you're stiff, you woke up. Some people are not waking up. We need to be grateful for life. And that's why I really love having you on Tea Time, because you always make me see life in a different way. You always open my eyes. You open my eyes with an orange, and the last time I believe you opened my eyes with an apple. I'm not sure what fruit you used the last time. I'm going to have to go back and check on season 3. But I mean, you really open the eyes through the way that you tell a story. And I think that we need to be grateful and appreciative of your skills as well, Pracha, because there's not many people that are doing what you're doing for children out there. So I want to thank you for those books. you
Thank you.
know
Thank you so much. Because, I forgot to say this, like when you eat the 10 candy bars, right away you get miserable, and then you do more things that make you miserable. It just becomes a habit as well. So, how do we break that habit? Pour in the joy. The easiest way to break a habit is to sub in a more lasting pleasure. Go right up that pleasure ladder. Bring in more by restricting, like we went through restricting. Diets don't work. The yo-yo, it's a bad feeling. How long can it last? Because we want joy in our lives. So bring it in. Let's say, so if you eat that, don't feel bad about it. That's what gets us down. That gets us in the bad ways, again. So bring in the good habit of celebrating whatever you did. Okay, at least I didn't do this, and feel grateful, and then we can keep going and add the next grateful thing to our life. So that's it's just a wonderful way to go in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm really grateful for you wanting to come back and sitting with me, because I always have fun when my guests come back. I always have fun with you, Roger, because you always make me open my eyes. Sometimes I myself get ungrateful. And when I have you here, it's kind of like you're kind of poking me and you're saying, hey, you have a lot going for you. You've really changed. And I want to thank you for that. And thank you for noticing that.
Oh, thank you.
I really
We we
appreciate
all,
that.
we all need the reminders all day long. We all do,
Right?
'cause we have the voice telling us the exact opposite all day long too. Focus. Oh, you should be miserable about this. We need reminders
Yeah.
all day. We all do. That's us. That's what we're here for. To help each other. Not to see through each other, but to see each other through. So I'm so grateful for you, Miss Liz. You are doing such amazing things in this world. Thank you for using everything that's happened in your life. That's coming full circle to help everybody else. It's incredible. You're awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. So, Bradshaw, if anybody would like to reach you, how can they reach you?
The best thing is the Goetz Bookshop. That's the website my children created, www.getzbookshop.com. And Goetz is spelt that funny way, Goetz.
Don't say the O.
Don't say that. But write it. Just type it in. Yeah.
Well, it was really an honor, and I want to thank you so much, Bracha. We're going to continue this flow of courage today because it seems to be the word is coming out a lot today with my guests. This morning we had Linda and Charlie, husband and wife, relationship and marriage. Then this afternoon we had Bracha, who incredible. She makes us all look at an orange a different way, and just go out and be grateful. And tonight we're going to be joined with Dr. Roger Leslie, who will be sharing about his memoir as well, his first day and his last day of his life story. So there's a lot of courage going on. So when you think of courage, think of tea. Think of your tea and serve your tea. It's just like Bracha. She served a teaching everyone appreciation tea today. So just be grateful for who you are. And I'll see everybody at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the last show of this week.